And Charles with his lookout on Oakley in the collision with Grant. Dumps it off. Good luck. Oh, and here we go. Oakley and Pippen. Jaw to jaw. Oakley felt that Pippen was being aggressive as they were vying for that loose ball.
It actually goes back to the last play when the foul was called and Grant took the basketball and shoved it in Oakley's stomach as he walked away. Oakley then turned to the official and said, how come you didn't call something there? This is just a carryover, that interaction between those two players. But then that's what makes players great and teams great, the ability to get off a shot and make it when you need it.
Oh, Pippen was hit hard. Things beginning to get a bit rough. Mason called for the foul. Mason with his second.
It wasn't that Pippen got thrown to the ground. He's losing his footing right there as Oakley tries to prevent the shot from going up. It's just, of course, natural that he's going to go down. It made it look to some extent that he threw him to the ground. I don't think Oakley intended it.
There was no argument from Phil Jackson, but Phil has been understandably very critical about the Knicks' style. For the most part, a style that took place earlier in the season. Knicks with a lot of late hits, with a lot of hard fouls. They lead the world in terms of flagrant fouls picked up. That department is headed by Charles Oakley, but things did tone down following the melee in Phoenix.
64 from the foul line. Now, in this particular case, it may have looked like Oakley had thrown him to the ground, and I don't think Charles meant it, but he certainly didn't try to hold him up as he was on his way down.
I don't know if Scotty accepted the "I'm sorry" from Charles, if that was the case. The steal by Rivers. Oh, look out. Pippen with a hard foul. Let's see how Jim O'Donnell handles it. Of course, Doc at times has won Academy Award honors, and he's all right. Oh, and apparently there were words. Smith and Pippen had words, and Pippen came chasing after Smith.
It starts back when Rivers makes the deflection and the steal and takes off. You never think that anybody's going to have a chance of catching him, but Scottie Pippen came from quite a distance behind to run him down. It's Pippen that throws the pass off the dribble. Rivers looks like he's got clear sailing, but Pippen from way behind catches him, and then it's the momentum which sends Rivers to the ground. He immediately grabs his head as if it hit down on the floor. From behind, Pippen goes for the block. There's no intent there to throw Rivers' body into the ground. It's just two great athletes and the speed and acceleration that causes this.
Looks to be a little act on the part of Doc to draw a flagrant, and then Pippen came racing in the direction of both Smith and Rivers. It looked like the target was Smith, and the officials are talking it over. Let's see how they handle it. Apparently no flagrant being called, and Pippen has to be restrained. We'll be back in a moment.
Took place as Charles Smith walks past Scottie Pippen. He nudges him with an elbow. Pippen doesn't like what happens. A little shove right there because of his teammate hitting the ground. The reaction by Pippen to turn and go after Charles Smith, that's what caused the entire incident. The shove with the left elbow. Pippen turns, realizes, hey, that's the bad guy that hit me. I'm going after him.
The Knicks were looking for a flagrant foul call, but I think the officials who have worked a number of games in which Doc Rivers has been involved, and we say this affectionately, and you know Doc from coaching him over the years with the Atlanta Hawks, he does give it a little extra to try and get the call, and he was trying to give the appearance that he had made contact with his head on the floor and was severely hurt, but as it turns out, he was not. And on Tuesday, and then the scene shifts to Chicago. Pippen hits the three-pointer. Scottie Pippen from downtown. 19 for Pippen, who has certainly responded here this afternoon. The ball committed before the shot attempt. Bill Cartwright called for the foul.
After Pippen hits the three, he runs back. He's looking at Charles Smith the entire time, and then makes sure that he gets into his defensive position there quickly. A little bit of trash talk afterwards. A few moments ago, on a steal by Doc Rivers, Scottie Pippen chases him down, and on this particular play, first the concern, was it a flagrant? No, it was not a flagrant. A good no call by the officials as Rivers kind of grabs on to Pippen's arm, but then his head does hit the floor when he goes to the ground. The injury incurred by Rivers was a dislocated fourth finger on the right hand.
And so the aftermath was this. Charles Smith, a little bump at Scottie Pippen, and Pippen did not appreciate it. They have words, and then Pippen went tearing after Smith. The conversation continued, and that was it.
He suffered a slight injury. The pinky finger on his left hand was jammed. That's Knicks trainer Mike Saunders popping it out and putting it back in. He's taped up and ready to go. Marv?
All right, Hannah. John Starks suffered a dislocated finger. Final day of the regular season against these same Chicago Bulls. 5 on the 24. Mason able to free himself up as Grant went for the steal. Rivers and Pippen in each other's face as play just continues.
In the low right-hand corner, Rivers doesn't like the fact that Pippen knocked him to the ground, so he's got a little bit to say and a little bit of chest bumping to do.
For the ball, the Knicks try to play the clock, and the foul given by Armstrong.
There's a technical foul. Boy, you saw that coming. Phil Jackson walked past the line. He's supposed to stop that. Went right into Bill Oates' face.
Now, you and I know the three guys who are refereeing here this evening. And you know that we have some people refereeing this game that you cannot say an awful lot to.
No, no.
Especially if you violate the line on the side.
Oh, man. 3 consecutive misses for the Knicks from the stripe. And that has been an Achilles heel for the New York Knicks since they are only 4 of 9. Much, much better tonight. Technical foul called. And that'll be on Scott Williams. And he doesn't like it. Phil Jackson is up. He already has it, Steve.
Now, they called Scott Williams. Now, either you couldn't see that, okay, because there was people in the way from here right underneath the rim. Now, they're calling him that he shoved the guy. Now, he could have been out of bounds, okay, and that's what led for the technical foul.
John Starks still has not scored. 2 technicals called in the game, and the Knicks have not been able to convert the free throw.
Now, we're going to show you what happens here. Now, you see, now he's got a hold of him, see, and he just pushed him. I'm telling you, with all the body contact in this game, okay, I find that to be an amazing call. All right, it really is an amazing call.
Isn't Anthony Mason directing traffic with John Starks?
Someone better go tell Mason at halftime to get out from underneath the backboard. That's the second time he's under the backboard, so that means that you cannot throw a long pass.
Now Mason and Clemens, excuse me, who are getting into it. Jim Clemens, the assistant coach for the Bulls. They were exchanging words. When you get the coaches in on it. Phil Jackson, some very uncomplimentary things to say about Riley. Mason in, doesn't get it. And a technical foul is going to be called for elbowing. And that'll be on Trent Tucker.
Oh, yeah. It's on Mason. See,
for an elbow.
When he went up that time, that's right. See, this is what Mason has got to learn to curve, okay? Everyone knows he's a tough guy, and everyone knows he's a great defender. Now, just watch it. He attacks. They had the advantage going against the press. Now, there it is. All right, then you can see that one hand. See, that one hand just went right over Cartwright. So the trail referee, Billy Oates, had a perfect look at that and called him for a flagrant foul, okay? And he came right at him.
Michael Jordan made the technical foul. He's 10 of 10 from the line. 25 points in the first half. Pippen at the line, and there is a technical foul called, I believe, on Charles Oakley. Double technical. Cartwright and Charles Oakley, double technical foul.
Well, we're going to see a lot of frustration here, and we're going to see people popping one another, and we know that's part of the game. This is an embarrassment right now, and the big thing is the world champs for 2 years in a row cannot run their beautiful triangle offense without being bumped off of the spots. And what is happening is the options, they cannot get to the options because they're being manhandled defensively one-on-one.
Blackman works the left side on Tucker. Good dish inside. Whistle away from the ball. And let's see if it is on Williams. Oakley making sure Joe Crawford gets the call. All right.
Once again, a guard off the dribble, down the lane, ahead of his man. The rotation comes, opening up a baseline big man, and they drop off the pass.
No fouls as Grant and B.J. Armstrong going to check in as Chicago called for the double dribble.
Better give up the ball.
Technical foul.
There it is. Technical foul.
And he throws Scotty Pippen out. Oh, you saw that coming, Hubie.
Because he threw the ball at the referee. And if Billy Oates did not have his hands up, now watch Phil Jackson.
Now Phil Jackson
all over
get tossed also.
Now, you could see that coming, okay? You could just see it coming.
Chicago has spent a great deal of time tonight crying to the officials.
And Pippen has followed Billy Oates to the other end of the floor. Now, you know that's going to be in the write-up. But you knew that was coming. As Pippen was holding the ball, he refused to give it to the referee. And then as he turned his face, he fired it at him. Unfortunately, Oates caught the ball.
Now you have to talk about, Hubie, the confrontation he did have as Starks can't complete, again, the fourth technical foul that they've missed. What about a possible fine? What's going to happen now to Scottie Pippen for Game 3 on Saturday? Because it was obviously a flagrant move.
You and I do not make those calls. Keep an eye on Pippen now, right at the top of the screen. See, he's walking. He'll drop it down. Now watch as he flips it now. See? Boom, he flipped it right at him. He felt that he just threw it with too much speed. Fortunately, Billy Oates, being an ex-college guard at St. Joe's down in Philadelphia, he has good hands, and he protected himself.
Played under a pretty good coach there.
Yes, by name of a fellow by name of Jack. Dropped that pick and roll hard.
Jordan is 4 of 11 this quarter from the field this half. We have a whistle and a foul. A lot of bodies down. And just threw another player out.
He sure did.
It'll be Greg Anthony.
That's right.
He's gone.
He said that. Now the interpretation there is that's intent. Intent to injure. Intent to injure the player. So what you have here is 2 shots and the ball on the side. Plus, you go. That's automatic. Automatic.
Flagrant foul with an ejection.
That's right. And this is that you are definitely trying to hurt the player.
Michael has missed his last 2 free throws. He'll have another. Here's another look at his
Interesting. You're going to see a strong one now. In the picture comes, there he is, right there. Now that's up to the referee's judgment. But they've been consistent tonight.
Would you believe it? Pocket 2. Doesn't go. Oakley had it.
That's okay.
Cartwright goes down.
Not
hard.
okay for Cartwright. But that was a loose ball, and there was nothing dirty about that. No. Charles Oakley went hard for the ball. Billy Cartwright just got upended, and unfortunately, when you're 7 foot 255, he crashed to the floor.
Bill Cartwright, thank goodness, is up walking around. Look at it again. What a collision. Oakley at 245 pounds hitting Cartwright at the same weight.
Well, they both hustling for that ball, and you're going to see the crash right there. That's a hard fall for Billy. Oakley has just been everywhere. He's been the guy tonight, the intangible guy. Like Pat Riley says, he's the basis here. He's a tough hombre for us. He sets great picks.
A couple of reasons. One, they're down 0-2, and 2, all the players are
are sick and tired of being depicted in the press as not only being complainers, but also whiners, which is really a shot to any professional athlete. Now, with this series the way it is and the rivalries the way they are, you would think that none of these guys would actually agree on one thing. But the Bulls all agree with Anthony Mason when he said, if I was a champ, I'd just shut up and play basketball. That's what the Bulls plan on doing.
That third quarter had the game tied up.
Michael has missed his first 2 shots. It will be Chicago possession. And Oakley and Pippen have some words. Bulls get the new 24. Jordan hits the deck. And a foul call.
Jordan tried to set the screen on Charles Oakley, who was guarding Grant. As is the Knicks' philosophy, run through screens if they get in your way. Oakley tries to run through. Michael Jordan sends him down. The foul number 2. They grab a Cartwright playing straight up.
Open shot for B.J. Armstrong. Armstrong so effective in game 1 has come out and hit 2 out of 3 from the field. Pippen and Smith in a collision, and it looked like the official Steve Javie went over to talk to both players.
Sure, he just went over and asked them, you two guys fine, everything okay today? Yeah, they nodded. Now they'll go on with the game.
Little sparring sessions going on verbally. I see Doc Rivers and B.J. Armstrong going at each other. A moment ago, Scottie Pippen upset about the personal call on him. Slammed the ball. Very fortunate he was not hit with a technical back in game 2 on Tuesday in New York. You recall this incident. Pippen called for a double dribble violation. Set him off, leading to official Bill Oakes ejecting Pippen. And yesterday after practice, I talked about this with Scottie Pippen.
He never saw it, first of all, I guess, you know. And, you know, when I talked to him, he said he made a mistake. But that's a crucial mistake when you're trying to battle back into the game, and then he inject me as well.
He said he made a mistake when you talked to him while this was going on or after?
Yeah, well, after I went and talked to him, after he told me I was ejected, I asked him, what did he see? He said, Scotty, I made a mistake.
You could have said you made a mistake throwing the ball at him.
So our little attempt at humor, making light of the situation.
Yeah, you cracked Scotty up, I tell you that.
Scotty laughs within. He doesn't show it.
Going back to that particular play, it came down to a missed call by the official. The situation was compounded by Billy Oakes going after the basketball. When Pippen did not give him the ball at that moment that he asked for it, he could have just called a delay of game, and that perhaps would have taken the thing in a completely different direction. It may not have been the reaction then of the ball being tossed or thrown at Billy Oakes, and then the ejection of Scottie Pippen.
He expressed much respect for the play of the New York Knicks.
Well, this year New York team reminds me of the Bulls of a couple years ago when we played the Lakers in the finals. We had that hunger, that determination to go out and win. You know, that's the Knicks right now. Somehow, some way, we would have to overcome that and go out and play our type of basketball.
And Horace Grant and Anthony Mason bumping each other, having some words.
The body's down low, the arms get tangled up, a little push and shove, telling each other, keep your hands off me, you keep your hands off. They're not going much further than that, though, because they know that the officials are going to keep this thing under control, and neither team can afford to lose one of their big men up front to an ejection.
These days, you take a punch and you are gone, whether it connects or does not.
Cartwright off the dribble one-on-one, but then he saw the double team coming over, and Starks comes up with the steal, but loses.
Kicked it into the stands, but he was mad at himself, and apparently that was the view of the official, Jack Madden, who was not calling a technical. What do you think?
There would have been no reason to call a technical. He wasn't mad at an official's call. He's just disappointed that he let the ball slip away. Starks hustles after, gets a piece of it, thinks he's on his way to the fast break, and then picks his head up, loses the dribble off his hand, then in frustration kicks the basketball. But that's nothing. You've got to understand the emotion involved in the basketball game. The officials have to have a feel for that. That was a correct no call by Jackman. Let it go.
It is still alive. Smith and Armstrong tie it up. Cartwright, Grant, and Pippen on the front line, although Pippen will run the offense. Look out. Starks went barreling into Pippen, and then Starks in the face of Pippen, who just looks to walk away.
One of the things that Phil Jackson mentioned was New York tries to run over and run through every screen, and because most of New York's players are bigger and stronger in the positions, it's hard for Chicago to hold its ground. Even on the perimeter, John Starks tries to run through Scottie Pippen, puts his head down, knocks Pippen back about 5 or 6 yards, and then both players smart enough to avoid throwing any kind of punches, so they'll stick around for a few more games in the series. Oh, the screen is set by Pippen. Starks lowers the shoulders, sets it right into the waist area of Scottie Pippen. Pippen's not real happy about it, but smart enough to turn away rather than start something. You must set solid screens against the New York defense, because they will try to run through it and over the top of it. Chicago gives BJ the shot.
Ewing with his second block, rejecting King. And look out. They're pushing and shoving. Things could get out of hand. The Knicks now are very frustrated. In contrast to what took place in games 1 and 2, where the Bulls from time to time would lose it, and the Knicks certainly have had more than their share of aggressive plays during the course of the season. Stacey King. Shot clock at 5. And Davis is crushed. Well, one Tar Heel to another. And it's a flagrant foul. Scott Williams called for the flagrant.
The feeling here is that this may have been a little payback in retaliation for the foul that was delivered against Michael Jordan in the last game. The follow-through and the fact that the body goes to the ground is what determines whether or not they're going to call it a flagrant foul. So
at the start of the game, and they have jumped to that big lead and have never been headed. Oh, King and Ewing looking to go. Patrick Ewing and Stacey King having words. Now Pippen and Campbell. Mason is over. Scott Williams gets between.
the whole incident started as Ewing was fighting for position down low. He brought his arm up high, and King was hit in the face. He did not like that. That started the pushing and shoving. Pat Riley making sure that he gets Patrick Ewing out of there so nothing else takes place. Fighting for position. Ewing brings the arm up and catches King in the face right there with the arm. He doesn't like it, a little push and shove, and then it escalates from there.
And the officials discussing the incident, deciding how to handle it. There were no punches thrown. A lot of words, some contact with pushes and shoves. The officials over to the melee. The end result, double technicals on Patrick Ewing and Stacey King, and a personal foul called on King.
Things heated up out on the floor after the contact by Ewing. Then more and more of the players got involved as they came off the bench in an attempt to break the incident up. Even Johnny Bach, the assistant coach, that old Marine mentality, walks on in and says, wait a minute, let me straighten this thing out, as Starks cuts him off on his way out.
And a foul on Starks, and Jordan upset because he was pricked. Looked like he got scratched by Starks, and he was very upset about it. Starks with his fifth foul, and also called for a technical, and they continue on. Jordan wanted to go at him, and they're trying to calm Starks down. Starks has been thrown out. John Starks has been ejected. Michael Jordan also called for a technical, but Starks has been tossed.
Pat Riley wants to to take John Starks out the other way. Instead of going out of the arena, the end that the Knicks normally go out, Pat Riley says just get him downstairs, get him away from the crowd, let him walk underneath the arena back to the Knicks locker room. Reminiscent of when Starks headbutted Reggie Miller and other Knicks had to go after him to restrain him and let him understand how important they need him. He can't get himself thrown out of game. The hard shot there at Jordan in trying to swipe the ball. Michael's got something to say, and then it continues to go from there. Steve Javy immediately with the technical foul against John Starks.
Michael Jordan, 16 for 16 from the line.
After they had broken up initially, now they went back after each other again, and this is where Michael Jordan almost goes after him. Fortunately for Chicago, he's held back. Fortunately for New York, Rivers and Ewing can get to Starks and hold him back.
We're talking with some of the Knicks players. One of the areas of concentration for them was to slow down Scottie Pippen. He has had an outstanding series up to this point. They want to pay special attention to him. Well, already, as Patrick Ewing is hit with a technical foul for having a little bit too much to say. And I think it goes back to when we mentioned Pat Riley was upset when there was no call against Ewing on the low post possession that he had.
Ewing was also called for that last foul, although he took a good shot from Cartwright, and he was also angry about that. Michael Jordan will shoot the technical. Michael, 16 of 17 from the line in Game 3.
On the way down, you try and establish position. Ewing tries to get there to keep Cartwright out of the post. Cartwright runs right into him. Ewing felt...
Paxson has a 3-on-2. Pitch down to Pippen. Look out. Nick Pivetta with the foul call against the Knicks.
Realizes that there are numbers against him, so he tries to take the foul out in front there before Chicago has it. A few moments ago, I said Michael Jordan was mad because he had set the screen, and Mason, trying to stay with his man Grant, tried to send the message to Michael Jordan, don't screen me from the backside where I can't see you, or else you're going to receive the blow. That time, Jordan not too happy about landing on the floor.
He checked to see if Pivetta was not looking. Starks apparently slapped Grant, and that's what set Horace Grant off.
What started it out was when Starks came up with the possession of the ball. As Grant ran by, he stuck out his rear end, trying to bump into Grant on purpose. Grant didn't like the fact that he tried to cut his legs out, so as they ran back down a little bit further, Grant just kind of sent a little message to Starks, who almost retaliated. Play goes by, there's the little message right there that he didn't like what had just happened prior to that. Grant kind of waving him off, saying, don't mess with me, don't do that, we're not going to buy that this afternoon.
And a timeout call. We'll be back in a moment.
How did the whole incident start? When Starks came up with the loose ball, a rebound, and starts to go up, he sticks out his rear end, cutting Grant's legs out from under him. Well, Horace doesn't like that, so he sends Starks on his way to the floor. Starks almost retaliates. Grant says, don't come over here and mess around with the big guys. Stay over there in the backcourt with the guards.
Play. Again, the Knicks beat the press. Charles Oakley showing another move out of the repertoire.
And you can see Charles Smith taking
An official timeout. Looked like Charles Oakley drew blood. Nick trainer Mike Saunders out.
and closed up. Oakley with the finish at the end of the fast break, and the little collision right there is where the cut is opened up as he goes into Bill Cartwright. He turns to go up the floor. They meet heads, similar to the headbutting incident with the Indiana team between Starks and Reggie Miller, but one was on purpose, this was not.
Wide open for a layup. I grabbed his number to show Mace what it was, number 54. It was Charles Smith, so he could see his number, and that was the extent of it. But there was nothing to it.
That's what took place last time down.
The Bulls within two. Cartwright called for the foul as Ewing is sent flying. Crowd wants a flagrant.
Inside, Cartwright all over. Ewing not trying to let him get the spot he wants, trying to duck underneath him. Ewing keeping that arm in his face the whole time. It's just been a battle the entire evening between them. Now this time down, when he gets in the air, Cartwright knows he's in trouble. whistle, so he just tries to stop the shot attempt. The officials feel that since the momentum of the foul, the follow-through of the arm caused Ewing to land and hit the ground, that they had to call a flagrant foul.
So Patrick Ewing will have 2 shots, borderline flagrant foul call.
And I would agree, it is a borderline, but when you place an official in the position of where he has to make a decision, then you got to live with it. Is this with intent to hurt Patrick Ewing? No, it's not. But it's a combination of he's off balance, you put your arm on him, you bring your arm down, he falls to the ground, and then the understanding that it could potentially be a volatile situation here. They call the flagrant to try.
This is the best sustained run of the game, and Mason took a second shot at Pippen, who did not approve of that.
Well, first let's go back to the big man down the hole. The battle. There's the space he creates by knocking Cartwright off him with the shoulder, and then the ball delivered on time, on the money. He can convert at the end. Watch after the play, making sure that no continuations. Call a little shot there by Pippen to Mason because he didn't like the extra little foul after the whistle that Mason put on him.
Chicago. Rivers and Jordan in each other's faces. And at 35 to go. Jordan fouled by Rivers. And now Jordan with some words for Rivers. And Jordan being ushered aside. Oh, Doc Rivers just went back at Michael Jordan. And they're being separated.
Talk about competitive people. Doc Rivers, every bit as competitive as you want on the floor. He's got an assignment. Do you read lips well?
No. Michael Jordan's teammates trying to settle him down now. That's 5 on Doc Rivers. Jordan is 5 for 5 from the line. The final, the Bulls defeat the Knicks to win the series in 6. Score once again here in Chicago. The Bulls 96 and the Knicks 88. For Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad, and Hannah Storm, I'm Marv Albert. This has been a presentation of the NBA on NBC.